catlovedreamingpeach.com.
Part 3. I've turned off the light. Let's see if I should turn it back on. My kids are up and being loud, even though it's midnight. It's
Auto-generated captions may have
12:11.
mofo typosio.
So it just became Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, and I'm talking about, so this is part 3 of Real Pro-Life. So people who claim to be pro-life and then they say that they want to ban abortion or they want to put it back to the states. But either way, the fact is that they want to limit women or people's rights. And I don't specify only women because sometimes it's a minor, sometimes it's a non-binary person or trans. So the pregnant person, they have rights, okay? And so, first I want to say that probably, I don't have the statistics or the numbers, but I would say that late term terminations are, the majority of them are going to come from people who planned to give birth, who wanted to have the baby, who were preparing for the baby in some way, and either there's some horrific medical issue, either with the baby, with the mother, or both. And the fact of the matter is that this issue has been twisted into a like devil kind of thing, and making a leap, taking in a horrific situation where, unless the woman is an actual who should be going to jail, like there was a case recently, the trial just ended, where, what was her name? No, the baby was a 20-year-old. There was Lalani, but that baby was a 20-month-old baby, and if you give birth and then right after you give birth, the baby, you go to jail, motherfucker. Like, this twisted narrative that there's this unfettered access to just, it's so twisted, and it's lacking any critical thought, and it's lacking facts, and it's just propaganda talking points. Okay, so I wrote some notes. I've been pregnant twice in my life. Luckily, both of those pregnancies were smooth and I would say, easy breezy. But that doesn't mean it wasn't extremely difficult. It doesn't mean that it wasn't extremely exhausting. It doesn't mean that my body didn't go through a billion changes, which it did. And yeah, sure, I was able to bounce back and be fit and trim and healthy again. And when I said it in the other video, it changes your body forever. That doesn't mean that you can't be fit again. It doesn't mean that you can't, have all the things, but most of the time you get stretch marks and it changes your body. Your breasts change, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, okay? And then there's the cost, not just the financial cost. There's the cost of raising a baby. A baby is an incredibly expensive an incredibly expensive endeavor to have a baby. Babies, by the way, people like to talk about baby. I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want a baby. Save the baby. A baby's only a baby for like a couple years, and then it's like not a baby anymore. Then it becomes a toddler. Then it becomes a little kid. Then it becomes a kid. Then it becomes a big kid. Then it becomes a precarious preteen, tween. Then it becomes a teenager. Then it becomes a teenager, preteen, and then a teenager, and then it becomes a young adult. He, she, they become grown-ups, but there's this long period of time where they're dependent, they're learning, they're growing, and so the cost is not just financial. The physical cost of actually being pregnant and going through those 40 weeks, give or take, of growing a human being inside of you. If the woman is not a woman, meaning, I didn't mean man or woman or trans. I meant, if, like, for example, if she's young, if she's a child, no child should ever have to do that. Obviously, a child did not end up in that situation consensually. So that child has every right to do what is best for them. And most of the time, it's not going to be to have a baby, in my opinion. Does it mean that doesn't happen most of the time they have the baby? I think that they do. So as a woman who's been pregnant twice, who's gone through full-term pregnancy, I had actually 2 home births with no epidurals, no drugs, and I highly recommend it. But it was extremely exhausting and very painful and a lot of pain. And then I had a baby. I had a baby. Each time I had a baby, and babies are extremely demanding. You have to keep them alive, and you have to feed them, and you have to bathe them and clothe them and keep them close and keep them safe and be attentive to their needs. And those needs are intense, and it's a 24/7 365 job for the first few years. The cost of having a child on your body physically is then added to the finances of actually raising that child, keeping a home for that child in a hopefully safe environment, having food to feed. Like, when I was pregnant, I had to feed myself. I had to keep myself healthy. I had to drink a lot of water. I had to stay, doing exercise. I had to take care of myself. So before the baby's even born, you have to literally grow a human being inside of you. It's a lot of work, and unless you've done it, you're never going to know exactly the level of, like, oh my God, how much it's literally taking from you. And when you nurse your baby, you're literally creating food to sustain a human being out of your own body. It's magical, but it is so intense, and it's not something that anyone should ever be forced to do. The cost of the emotional demands, the mental demands, the spiritual, the psychological, and pregnancy itself has infinite aspects of a variety of things that can happen. And then raising a baby and a child, and even my children now, they are still so young, they need so much, and it is demanding every second of the day. I paused this video. It's 12:22. I've already paused this video like 10 times in the last 10 minutes, just to try to talk to my kids. Okay, the financial, physical, emotional, mental. And when I say mental, I mean just your day-to-day mental load, the capacity that it takes, the mental ability to do it. And then I also mean mental health, the psychological aspects. And then, are the parents together? Are the parents healthy? Are the parents toxic? Is it a single parent? Is it 2 young people? Is it 2 old people? Do they have substance issues? Do they have mental health issues? Do they have a support system? Do they have the finances? Do they have a place to live? Is it safe? Are they, healthy physically? Do they have the health and the well-being to do it? A lot of people have all kinds of mental health issues. They're narcissists, they're toxic, they're selfish, they're evil, they're mean, they're cruel. They have baggage from their own childhood. They have unseen, unhealed wounds. There's like so many things that go into not just simply being pregnant and then that equals a life that has to be born. Like, there's so many reasons that it's literally not your fucking business. It's not your choice to make, and it should never be politicized. It's just disgusting to me that they make it a political issue when it's really